Hey, what's going on there, guys? Nick here with Absolute MTG, and today we are taking a look at the Death's Beginning intro pack for Born of the Gods. Like we have done with the previous Born of the Gods intro packs, and also Theros, we're going to be taking a look at the deck list here. We're going to be taking a first-hand look at the cards, and we are going to be opening up the booster packs that are included alongside the 60-card pre-built deck. And we are going to see if we can swap anything out, maybe give you guys some ideas for any of the stuff you may pull out of the booster packs because they are randomized. So let's see. Pull this out. We have our deck right here. We have our two booster packs, and we also have some inserts here for how to play Magic, and also a insert for all the intro packs, and it talks about what each intro pack is and the card contents and whatnot. So for any of you guys that are interested in seeing the rest of the intro packs and like what cards are in there, you can use those inserts as a reference, or you can just check out the videos on my channel because I am opening up all the intro packs. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the deck itself. So we get two rares out of here. One of them is a foil rare, which is the card that we have up at the top of this deck, and we'll see what all we get and in what quantity. Okay, so we have Eater of Hope in foil. It's one of our rares. We have Felhide Brawler, another Felhide Brawler, Satyr Wayfinder, and another one, Felhide Minotaur, Satyr Piper, Nighthowler, so that's our other rare, playing off of cards in our graveyard, or in all graveyards, creature cards in all graveyards. Forsaken Drifters, ×2, Returned Centaur. We have Graverobber Spider, Pheres-Band Centaurs, Keepsake Gorgon, Pharika's Mender, Loathsome Catoblepas, Archetype of Finality, Nemesis of Mortals, ×2. And then we have our basic lands, so we have some swamps, and we have some forests here. And then we're going to get to our instants and sorceries here, our non-creature stuff. So Commune with the Gods, we have Mortals Resolve, Unravel the Æther, we have Asphyxiate, we have two of those, which is pretty sweet for removal. Cutthroat Maneuver, March of the Returned, Weight of the Underworld for more removal, Rescue from the Underworld, and Raised by Wolves. So it looks like this deck has kind of like a graveyard-based theme where we are going to be powering up cards like Nighthowler based on creature cards in graveyards, and we're going to find ways of being able to kind of interact with that. So it's a pretty cool theme, like being able to do Dredge. Dredge is kind of known for being like a black-green type of deck. One thing that I do want to do is count the lands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 swamps, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 forests. So 26 lands total, which is a little bit high. I mean, with most decks, we're going to be playing around 24 lands. That's pretty much the kind of like norm for it. So 26 is maybe a little bit too high. We can adjust things based on what we pull out of these packs and what we can do as kind of like a mock substitution type scenario here. So yeah, the booster packs, of course, are randomized, so who knows what we'll pull out of them. But hopefully some stuff that we can use as a reference for swapping. So Weight of the Underworld, we've pulled another one of those. Sphinx's Disciple, War Chanter of Mogus, Revoke Existence, Scouring Sands, Charging Badger, Deepwater Hypnotist, Crypsis, Reckless Reveler. We have Grisly Transformation, Ephera's Enlightenment, Pheres-Band Raiders, Siren Song Leer, and we have Mogus, God of Slaughter. Wow. Not in our colors, but a really sweet card. So 7/5 for 4 indestructible God, legendary enchantment creature. As long as your devotion to black and red is less than 7, he's not a creature. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, he is going to deal 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacks a creature. So that's nuts. That's a pretty sweet card. And then we have a Swamp and a Wolf. So out of here, cards that we pulled that we can play in our colors are things like War Chanter, Way to the Underworld, Charging Badger, probably not. It's a 1/1 for 1 green. We're probably going for bigger things. The Grizzly Transformation is playable in our colors, and Pheres-Band Raiders is there as well. So we have all of that, and we also have Mogus, which is nuts. That card's really sweet. And we have our second pack. So let's see. Alright, so Swordwise Centaur, Marshmist Titan. That's actually pretty playable for us. Nyxborn Wolf. Floodtide Serpent, Rise to the Challenge, Griffin Dreamfinder, Elite Skirmisher, Mortal's Resolve again, so we have another one of those. Asphyxiate, sweet. A Crone Skyguard, Sky Reaping, Noble Quarry, Searing Blood, and we have Cursor of Crufix. So this card is actually pretty playable for us as well. So it's a 2/4 for 3 mana, and we play with the top card of our library revealed. We may play the top card of our library if it's a land, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we gain 1 life. And we have an island and a insert. The Cursor is definitely playable for us. I'm not sure about the Centaur. Double green for a 3/2 is pretty sweet, but I think we want to be going a little bit bigger with our creatures and trying to smash our opponent with like higher end drops in this type of a deck. So Marshmist Titan is definitely something that's really sweet. He costs X amount of mana less to cast, where X's are devotion to black. So for each black symbol on permanents that we control, he's going to cost less, which is really sweet. So we have that. The Wolf is alright, and Centaur is alright. Mortal's Resolve is awesome, and Asphyxiate is definitely something that we want to try to squeeze in somewhere. And Sky Reaping is really sweet for a sideboard tech card. Noble Quarry, not so much. I'm not really as impressed with that card. But it's still something. I mean, Mortal's Resolve is another card that we could try to squeeze in, and Sky Reaping for the sideboard is really sweet. Playing off of our devotion to green and being able to get rid of creatures with flying. So there's that. Let's see what we can do. So like I mentioned before, the land base was a little bit too much with 26. That's usually what we want to be playing for like a control deck in Constructed, and that's probably a little bit excessive. So maybe we'll cut like 1 swamp and 1 forest. It was what, 15 and 11. So well, we could even just cut 2 swamps. So if we cut 2 swamps, it'll be 13 and 11. So giving us 24. So that's probably more appropriate for us, 24 rather than 26. We don't really need all of those lands. But whenever you make adjustments to your land base, it's basically going to be based on the converted mana costs of the cards that you're actually playing. If you're playing a lot of really expensive high-end drops, then you might want to have a little bit more lands. But then again, you can also complement that by playing ramp spells and ramp cards, which I don't think we necessarily have anything that ramps us here. It doesn't seem like it very much. So, I mean, we do have 6 drops, and we do have Eater of Hope. So we may just go to play 25, I guess. 25 should be fine, instead of the 24, because we do have some high-end drops, and maybe we'll squeeze in a few other high-end drops. But we do have 1 card that we can add in. So the one slot that I do want to add in is Asphyxiate, because it's a sweet removal card for 3 mana. Destroying target untapped creature. Of course, there's improvements that you can make as you buy more expensive cards, but Asphyxiate at a common is still pretty sweet for beginner decks. March of the Returned isn't necessarily mandatory in this type of deck, returning creature cards from our graveyard to our hand. It might be something that we'll take out for something like the Cursor for us, so we have another really solid creature in the 3-drop slot. So that already is probably a better adjustment for us. The Marshmist Titan is really awesome as well. And where I would probably go with this is probably to take out something like where is he? Satyr Piper. So Satyr Piper is not a card that I'm really impressed with. He's a 2/1 for 3 mana and 4 mana. Target creature must be blocked if able. It's just kind of like an expensive combat trick that you're playing around with and you're having to keep mana open for. So I'd rather have a Marshmist Titan, which he's another high-end drop card, but he costs less based on our devotion to black, which is something that we can kind of play around with here. Pheres-Band Raiders is another sweet card, so plays off of Inspired, and whenever he becomes untapped, we can pay 3 mana. If we do, we put a 3/3 Centaur onto the battlefield. So that's actually really awesome. That's a really awesome type of effect to have on a creature. So all the cards in our non-creature spells seem pretty solid. Probably Unravel the Æther is the only card that I'm a little bit iffy about, just because it's narrow. And I tend to say that about a lot of cards, but it's a little bit more narrow than I'd like it to be. But then again, Loathsome Catoblepas is probably one of the weaker cards that we have for as much mana, so we could probably take that out for the Pheres-Band Raiders in the 6 mana slot. It has more power and toughness, and it probably has a better ability than the Loathsome Catoblepas as it is. So the Raiders, I think, will be a better fit right there. And we do still have Grizzly Transformation. War Chanter of Mogus, based on Inspired, is going to give Intimidate. That's alright, but it's not something that we need to fit into the deck. Weight of the Underworld, however, is another removal spell, and it's a pretty decent one for 4 mana for like more casual base decks. So Weight of the Underworld may be something that we want to try to squeeze in. So Felhide Minotaur is a little bit lacking. It's only a 2/3 vanilla creature for 3. Vanilla meaning it has like no actual abilities or effects or anything to it. So maybe we'll take out Felhide Minotaur for that, another source of removal. So we could take that out. And then we have 3 Weight of the Underworld for some removal or making big creatures a little bit smaller. So those are just kind of the small mock changes that I would make with the example packs that we have here and the stuff that we open. So the rares that we get out of here are Eater of Hope and Nighthowler out of the intro pack. And we also pulled a really sweet Cursor of Krufix and a Mogus God of Slaughter out of our booster packs that are randomized in here. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel for more Magic the Gathering content. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more Magic the Gathering content, you can hit the subscribe button on the screen and you'll be notified whenever a new video is available. And for those of you guys that enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh!, you can check out my Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel by clicking on the video in the top right hand corner. Also, be sure to check out our sponsors for the channel, ABU Games and Europe's MTG Madness, for all of your Magic the Gathering needs, no matter where you are.